Why don't we just divide the country right now? Seriously, in all seriousness.
Well, the tough part is
you Fruit Loops can have California. You can have the whole West Coast. How about that? You got your whole coastline. You can have it.
All right, welcome back. Mike Lomas, Glenn Wiggle Podcast. Financial Guys, place where money meets politics, and back again. And like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, our website, thefinancialguys.com. Busy holiday weekend for some of the Democrat-run cities.
Yeah.
I know here in Buffalo we did an exceptional job, but not even close to Chicago, really.
Well, no, you can't beat Chicago.
No.
They take the cake.
Well, it's because the mayor's a white-black person, so that's why. All right, sorry, black. Female, sorry.
You would just say white
black person.
I think she kind of is, really. She's got whitish hair,
Yeah. Well, but all the every time you question her now, it's racist.
Sure.
So that's all the. There's only there's no violence going on around her. The Newsmax interview we played last week was great. I mean, they were just all over her, and she's like, nothing happened in here. Nope.
Well, she's so just conceited, right? You don't understand. It's the suburbs that have the lax gun laws that they bring them into the cities. Let me tell you something.
Suburbs.
I don't know. Maybe swing out to the suburbs. Stop at a gun shop, okay? If you see a whole bunch of gangbangers in there, then you'll know you're right.
That's right.
But you won't see that, because they don't really get their guns that way.
I was thinking, though, Glenn, over the weekend, it's funny because, a lot of violence in city Buffalo, a lot of violence in Detroit, a lot of violence in Chicago, not so much down in South Florida. And I wonder what the difference is down in Florida.
It's hilarious. I put the people on Twitter are just wonderful people, right? I mean, I'm joking, of course.
Yeah.
But there's, it's just amazing. I put out sometimes you put out a tweet. These are not factual statements, right? You put out a tweet, you just want to say something. You want to express something, right? I said, hey, the largest cities with the most violence all seem to be run by Democrats, right? Of course, I get one.
True, that's a fact.
Well, it's a fact. One guy writes back, well, Jacksonville's on the list. They're number 7. I'm like, come on, dude. Seriously? First of all, Jacksonville has had a Democrat mayor until last year, okay?
Yeah.
Secondarily, okay, sorry, 19 out of the top 20. You got me. Come on.
Should we take bets, though, that Jacksonville starts to slowly move off that list, assuming that Republican is actually a conservative? There's a blueprint for all this. We've talked about this. Giuliani put the blueprint together. Lots of police officers and arrest people and put bad people in jail.
Here's the thing. When you let people get away with crime, it's just like children, right? So, you let them have a Snickers bar before dinner.
Right.
And then the next thing, we have
week after week after week.
Week after week after week. Then the next, then it's ice cream for dinner, right? So it's the same thing with the broken window theory. You have to police all crime. Now, you don't want to clog up your prison systems or your court systems with petty crime, of course. But, if you're going to let, something like, let's say, carjacking go unchecked, right?
Well, that's the false narrative, Glenn, is that, there's people in jail because they had a joint in their car. No, there's not.
Well, they had a joint in the car, but they stole that car.
yeah, that's exactly right. Yeah.
At gunpoint,
exactly right. Yeah. Right. But there's this false narrative out there that there's in Attica prison in upstate New York. It's the worst of the worst, and there's some people mixed in there because they sold an ounce of pot. No, there's not. There's murderers in there. There's thugs in it. There's MS-13 gang members in there. That's such a bunch of crap that
Well, Trump actually was the one who passed the prison reform bill that released a lot of the people that were held in prison on drug counts, thanks to Joe Biden and Bill Clinton.
I have a lot of friends who are guards, and and I asked them. They said, "No, Mike. There's nobody in there for pot. Nobody in there. Not in the at least not in the Atticas. The harshest of jails, which these guys are in. Right. No, and he said most of them. He goes, very, very few of them have not been charged multiple times throughout the year. So it's not like one offense. It's these people literally are in there for their third rape.
Right. But if you look at what Giuliani did, he said, listen, we're going to have to, if you rob a store, we're going to arrest you.
Yeah.
If you throw a brick through a window, we're going to arrest you. And so the message was clear to the criminals of New York City. If you break the law, you are going to face consequences, no matter what the law is, whether it is carrying pot or whether it's selling illegal cigarettes or whether it's breaking a window, whether it's robbing a store, whether it's carjacking or whatever. Now, what you have in these major cities is this soft on crime, And look at what we've done in this country from a criminal perspective. We have glorified criminals.
Yes.
We have demonized police. Right, defund the police. Police are all bad. They're all racist, despite no evidence to that effect.
None.
And at the same time,
in fact, just the opposite.
Just the opposite.
Yeah.
At the same time, we've glorified criminals. Remember, Michael Brown, hands up, don't shoot. Right, that was the first. It started right there.
Yep.
Right there in that moment with riots in Ferguson because of a false lie that the Democrats seized upon and ran with. Remember, all the Democrats walked onto the floor of the House of Representatives with their hands up.
Yeah.
Hands up, don't shoot. Hands up, don't shoot. They interviewed 50-some-odd people for that case, for the grand jury, before they decided not to charge that guy. Now, the police officer, I think it was Darren Wilson, he lost his entire career.
Yep.
He lost everything.
He's probably still in lockdown somewhere.
He had to move his family, go somewhere else.
Yeah. All on a false narrative that the media, of course, took these dirtbag Democrats who walked in with their hands up and just ran with it. Instead of telling the truth, the truth, which would have stopped it right there, President Obama, instead of telling the truth, it would have stopped it right there. They couldn't do it.
That's what the media's for.
They want to fan the race. Yep.
That's what the media should be doing.
Yep.
The media should be going, wait a minute now.
Yeah, this is not the truth.
Mr. President, President Obama, you said hands up, don't shoot, but 50-some-odd grand jury witnesses, not a single one of them corroborated that one witness who then recanted that he had his hands up. He didn't have his hands up.
No.
He had his hands down, charging the officer and attacking him in his police car, right? But again, it goes back to, if you don't rob the 7-Eleven, you don't have that encounter with police. George Floyd, we put him up on a pedestal, right? If he doesn't pass a counterfeit bill, he doesn't have an
again, by the way.
Not saying what that officer did was right, and certainly he got his justice. He's going to jail for 20-some-odd years. But the fact of the matter is that if he doesn't commit a crime, he doesn't have the interaction.
And by the way, this is multiple crimes. Floyd had multiple crimes on his belt,
Absolutely.
right? I continue to say that, right? If you and I fish, right? If you fish a lot, the odds of you getting a big fish are better, right? Even if you're not a good fisherman, by the way. Even if you're not a good fisherman. I mean, you and I have all heard stories of somebody who's out bass fishing and catches that record muskie on this little non-musky lure, right? But guess what? They were out there fishing a lot, right? If you're in circles with crime and criminals, right, you're gonna get whacked one of these times. You're gonna get shot at. You're gonna get arrested. You're gonna maybe even falsely accused. But you know what? If you're out there fishing, continuously getting in trouble, you're going to get in trouble yourself, right? It's just the nature of the beast. And the false narrative of the police officers just driving down the street and pulling somebody over and arresting them, that's such crap, it's not even funny. Such crap. But let's play the video, by the way, because this is a result of this. You talked about that you let these kids get away with stuff, right? And it's okay. By the way, I thought once Trump lost that all this stuff was going to stop. I thought Chicago only wanted Trump out because he's a bad racist man. And once he's out, everything is going to be peaceful and quiet and beautiful, right? Well, this is the July 4th weekend in the city of Chicago, led by totally incompetent morons.
Oh yeah, don't doubt.
Totally incompetent morons. They can't. By the way, we should play that video of that school board. That I sent you. That I'll resend it to you.
That guy.
He's telling the truth, right? Of course, they turned it right back into racism again.
To be fair, though, that's not the way to have a conversation. I mean,
no, you know what? He's telling the truth.
He is telling the truth.
He's telling the truth, and I hate to say this. Instead of all these parents screaming, where's one parent that stands up and says, and we'll play the video, by the way. Let's play this video.
I didn't watch
first.
the whole thing because I couldn't get past the. That was amazing. All right, here we go. This is Chicago. This is Fox 32, local affiliate in Chicago.
Friday night, 92 people have been shot. 16 of those people have died.
Those shot include 6
92.
children and teenagers
Up to 110
and
now.
2
Before
CPD
this.
supervisors. Dane Placco is live outside CPD headquarters with those details. Dane?
Yeah, they are the 32nd and 33rd Chicago police officers to be either shot at or shot this year. A simply staggering number.
Sign me up.
Now, the good news is they're okay. They have been released from Stroger Hospital.
I hope they're making $1 million a year.
All this happening
That's what it's
around
worth.
1:45 this morning in the South Austin neighborhood. Police say a large and boisterous crowd had gathered near the corner of Washington and Long, shooting off fireworks and making noise. When officers, including the 15th District Commander, tried to disperse that crowd, they heard gunshots. Austin District Commander Patricia Wines, 27-year veteran of the Chicago Police Department, was shot in the foot. A sergeant suffered a graze wound to the thigh. They were both rushed to Stroger Hospital, where they were treated for non-life-threatening injuries. Now, as I said, 33 Chicago police officers have now been shot at this year. 8 of them have been hit. Chicago Police Superintendent David Brown says it's unclear whether the officers were targeted or shot randomly.
As you know, there's been a lot of large crowd gatherings tonight, a lot of celebratory fireworks going off, kind of spontaneous. They were dispersing a crowd, and they heard shots, felt pain.
They were looting again, by the way.
Criminals are
Oh,
emboldened.
sure.
They have absolutely no fear
Yep.
of the repercussions
Spot
of the
on.
crime. And sadly, I don't see that changing.
No.
Yep. The other one I sent you.
Superintendent says they are
The
reviewing
gentleman's like, well, I
video
sort of see their
surveillance
point. Like, what? No, what point do you see? What point do you see? Do you see them looting? Do you see them? You know, how? I mean, what are they getting out of that? You know, what do you win out of that? Well, I guess you steal the Nike shoes that are in the door or the window, but. You know, I see their point. Well,
but
you
here's
know, the police officers have been a little bit too harsh on a certain group of people. Okay, you're believing the CNN crap then. That's exactly what you're believing.
You're believing the lies,
Yeah.
is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, don't forget, there was one of the Black Lives Matter leaders in Chicago came out and said, you know, looting is reparations, right? Rioting is reparations.
Yeah, they deserve it.
Going and taking what we want is payback. Well, wait a minute now. First of all, half of these people had no ancestry to slavery whatsoever, right?
Second of all, they're stealing from black businesses.
Right, exactly.
They're stealing from black businesses.
She goes, well, this is how we put food on the table. So let me just get this straight. That Coach bag and those Nike sneakers. I mean, I don't know, but the last time I checked the
don't look like
retail
beans and
store,
vegetables.
Exactly. I didn't see you walking out with steaks and then
Broccoli, broccoli.
Yeah, Nike. Oh, there we go. I got them. What a
Work
show.
boots. No work boots.
no,
yeah.
no.
Yeah, and you're stealing from other black-owned businesses. That's a bunch of garbage.
Even in Buffalo, the city of good neighbors, we had like 9 people shot on Friday night or whatever it was.
Up to
It's
11
crazy.
now.
Up to
Up to
11.
11,
Okay.
yeah.
See, I didn't keep up with the
Yeah,
time, so
yeah.
amazing.
You're,
Just amazing.
you're underscoring yourself there.
I'm
Glenn.
underscoring it, I
Yeah,
guess. Yeah.
yeah.
And again, you know, we know the answer, and the answer is more police and prosecuting crime and having these prosecutors. Now, remember, George Soros, about a decade ago, spent millions, hundreds of millions of dollars getting prosecutors elected for 2 reasons. Number one, so they could let the criminals out and create as much chaos as possible. And number 2, so that he could get these prosecutors, political prosecutors, to go after Republicans and political people, right? So you look at the 2 people that defended their home. Now, again, I don't agree with them waving the guns around, but you know they were defending their home in a private community. There's 2 attorneys in St. Louis. They've lost their gun rights now. They copped a plea deal, which was the stupidest thing ever.
Not one
but a
person
liberal
prosecuted
prosecutor.
by it. Not one person prosecuted for smashing down the gate to get into that community.
Right. So there's
not one.
So there's your George Soros prosecutors.
Yep.
George Soros is an evil, evil human being. He deserves to rot in hell, and that's where he's likely going. Right.
Yep.
So, but the thing is, he is a world destroyer, is what he is. He has destroyed countries. He can't step foot in France because he's already been convicted of insider trading. He's a criminal. Why we allow him to be a criminal in this country? He lives in this country as a criminal.
Yep.
Why don't we just we should just extradite him right to
send
France and let them prosecute him? He'd be sitting in a prison right now,
Yep.
like Julian Assange. But no, we give him safe harbor in this country and allow him to cause all kinds of chaos and allow him to use his wealth to promote prosecutors that are going to let criminals out. So, you know, sadly, it's the innocent people that suffer the most, right? It's not the Democrats, although some of the people that are innocent are Democrats, of course. But it's a lot of these. I mean, how many kids were shot? 16.
Yeah.
Well,
now,
how many
by the
kids
way,
were shot in Chicago?
I said
last
111.
weekend?
118 shot over the weekend.
But I
This
think
is
it
as
was
of this morning.
16 of them in Chicago were children.
I'm sure. Well, look at this.
A 1-month-old was shot.
Young
last
child in critical condition after triple shooting near ECMC.
Right.
So right around the corner, this was a
Just
1-month-old baby
ridiculous.
that
Just
got
ridiculous.
shot.
But hey, you know what? You'll hear they'll prosecute this guy, and it'll be, well, he's let out again. He's let out again. We were at Pay Weber 20 years ago. I'll never forget this. We used to go across the street to a place called what the hell was that place called?
Glass.
No, not Glass Abbey. No, the place had the shooting. It was like a bar right on Main Street there.
Capitol Grill.
No, it wasn't
No,
Capitol
not
Grill. No, what the hell?
It's something grill. I know what you're talking about. Right on Main
anyway,
Street.
Hooligans. It was like Hooligans Grill or something like that, right? Or Hannigan's, Hooligans. It doesn't matter, whatever.
Well, it was hooligans, I think, when we went, but when the shooting happened, it was something grill.
Okay, so
Yeah.
whatever. Right
City
on
Grill,
Main Street.
City Grill.
City Grill.
City Grill.
Right downtown, right on Main Street, right in the heart of Buffalo, right,
Right in the heart. Right in the heart and soul.
But in the business district, though,
Yeah.
like Pay Weber was there. It's right across from the HSBC
yeah.
building, right across from the Ellicott Square building. For those of you that know Buffalo,
Theaters there.
yeah,
Everything,
the theater district and that general business theater area where normally there's no. So basically they had a wedding there. Of course, gets out of control. 8 people shot, 4 people killed. Right.
That's normal, by the way.
That's normal.
Shooting at a wedding.
Yeah. Here's then you read the rap sheet. I'll never forget this. Reading the rap sheet of the shooter in the Buffalo News. Right. He had like 8 prior convictions, 3 of which for prior gun crimes.
Yeah, 3 of them are.
So I'll just give you a little hint. If you really want less shootings, you arrest and you prosecute and you put in jail the people doing the shootings, right? And you can do as many buyback programs as possible. By the way,
and you put them away for a long time.
Did they do that buyback program in Lewiston yet?
I don't know.
Was that last weekend?
No, I think they just announced it last weekend. We got to find out.
I'm telling you what,
Yeah.
if you want a capitalist idea, folks, I'm going to give it to you right now. You want to make some money? Here's how to make some money, okay? You got to get a little bit prepped up for this. And I'm not sure, just a little bit prepped up. So this town of Lewiston, I think it is, somewhere in Niagara Falls area, is going to do a gun buyback program.
Yeah, I don't think it's town of Lewis. I think it's in Niagara Falls.
Niagara Falls. Okay, Niagara Falls. City of Niagara Falls is going to do a gun buyback program. They're giving out so you turn in a gun, you get an iPad. So let me just give you a little hint, okay? The iPads they're giving away are worth about $600. You can go over to Cabela's or Dick's Sporting Goods and you can buy a Ruger 9mm, whatever, not even a 380, a little Ruger.
We have
380.
to figure this out. I'd love to see. We should buy like whatever, $5,000 worth, and just bring them over.
So Ruger 380s, you can pick those up for like $200.
Yeah.
Okay, now in New York, you got to go downtown, the stupid, Erie County, get on your payment, blah 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 blah. But if I'm an entrepreneur and I'm going to go and buy like a whole case of those.
Buy
things,
what you can,
Yeah, give me 20 of them. I'll take 20.
Right.
Put them all in my permit. Take them down to Niagara Falls and trade them for iPads. $200 turn into $6. So you could triple your money in a matter of 1 week. Right?
Yep.
Real easy. The Wizards of Smart in Niagara Falls can't figure this out. They do this all the time. They did this in Baltimore. Hey, we're going to do a large clip buyback. We'll give $25 per magazine. People went out online and bought 30-round magazines for $6.
Yeah.
Turned them in for $25.
Been doing it for years, Glenn. Here's the result of it in Buffalo. City of Buffalo's been doing this for years. Young child in critical condition after triple shooting.
But I guarantee you, when they find
11
that
over
guy,
the weekend.
when they find that
he'll
guy,
be out. He'll be out.
Well, but he'll have prior arrests.
Oh, of course.
He'll have prior gun arrests.
Of course.
Prior illegal gun, prior shooting.
Of course.
You can take away all the guns and make all the laws you want for law-abiding citizens. If you don't prosecute the people that are committing the crimes, the gun crimes, they're just going to go out and find more guns.
Yep.
You can make guns. You could actually go to a hardware store and buy the components to put a gun together.
It would be
It's
real
not
easy,
hard.
by the way, if we actually supported the police to go out and round these people up. It's, even in Chicago last night, there was a group of about 100 people there. Right? There was a group of about 100 people. We can round those people up pretty quickly if we're committed to doing that, right?
Yep.
I mean, they were jumping on top of police cars. The minute that happens, support the police, arrest every single one of them. You're jumping on a police car, okay, you got 6 months in jail.
I
Do
gotta
that
tell
again,
ya.
you get 2 years, you get 10 years, whatever.
If you assault a police officer or their vehicle or their dog or anything
Anyway,
like that,
put 'em away for a long time.
You should have a mandatory 10 years prison sentence.
Yeah, I'm
But
great with that.
How courageous are these police officers? I mean, you got to
Time and time again.
Time and time.
Week after week after week, going into war
Could you
zones.
imagine you get the call. Car number 9, you're closest. You and your partner are going to go disperse this group of 100 people. Are you insane? I'd be like, I quit right now.
Wait a minute.
No
Is
way.
that part of the same 100 that was there last weekend destroying our
Exactly.
cars? Okay, let me run over.
Yeah, let me get right in there. And but if I shoot somebody, I'm going to be the criminal, right?
That's
If I
right.
defend myself, I'm going to be the criminal.
Right.
So I'm going to probably take a bullet because if I return fire or God forbid I have
I'm
to
a
use deadly
racist.
force, I'm a racist.
Yeah.
It's such a joke.
Total joke.
Such a joke. The Newsmax guy, though, hats off to him for just calling Lori Lightfoot out for the
Yes.
loser that
Do
she is.
you have that? We
I could
played it
find
a little bit last week, but I
She's-
love that interview.
He's
by the
amazing.
way.
He's awesome.
Love that interview. And because she's so clueless. You can see it in her eyes. Like how they'll blame everything except do what you need to do, which is support the damn police officers. I mean, they time and time again. And in the city of Buffalo, by the way, we've gone from a sort of a moderate Democrat, which is not really. I mean, it's amazing.
Well,
because,
now he's considered moderate.
Yeah, now he's considered moderate, right? To a flat out socialist. I mean, if you think the city of Buffalo is going to get safer, good luck with that.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Good luck with that. She's already said, well, I don't want to totally defund the police department, but
Just most of it.
Yeah, I just want to change it a little bit. Okay.
Well, the best
right.
part is you can really see the mentality. Again, I go back to Twitter because this is where you see the stupid and the lazy right here, right?
Yeah, well, because they can hide, right? It's not them.
It's anonymous.
Yeah, they're in their basement.
Twitter's a special place because you can be anonymous, right? It's not like Facebook where you have to be a person or a business,
Yeah.
something like that. Twitter, you can make up fake accounts till you're
Sure.
blue in the face and no problem. So these wizards are smart on Twitter. I love these lazy folks. Like they're, Lori comes out that Lori Lightfoot comes out that our new socialist mayor in Buffalo has committed welfare fraud, has committed like unemployment insurance.
She goes,
fraud.
I've learned from my mistakes.
Oh, sure you have. She
Yeah.
goes, I'm not. I don't regret what I
Yeah.
did. All of her supporters like. This is yay, good for her.
Good
she
for
should
her.
stick it to the man.
She is.
You
She's a
people are
warrior.
so dumb.
She's a warrior
She's
for stealing welfare money. That's what
right.
they look at.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
good for you.
That's a hero to them.
Good for you.
That
Everybody
makes
standing behind her's figured it out too.
You can see the Twitter people. If you think this is going to make us not vote for her, we just like her that much more. Oh, I see. So scamming the system is a plus in your world. Safe communities and jobs, not so much.
Who's buying real estate in the city? Not me.
For those of you, I'm telling you right now, for those of you that have children living in your basement, you're the problem.
Yep.
You're the problem, right?
Yep.
Tell
Stop
them to get
funding
a
them.
job, right?
Stop funding
them. Tell them to go get a job. Starbucks doesn't count, okay?
Right.
Starbucks is a good when you're like in high school.
By the way,
go get a real job.
It is, and I continue to. I sound like a broken record every week. It is so easy to find a job right now where you can make a living. I saw an ad the other day for CDL licensed truck drivers.
Oh yeah.
If you're I'll say a man, right? With go wake up in the morning and go get a license to drive a truck.
Or
instead
a woman.
of sitting in your or a woman, instead of sitting in your mom and dad's basement. Go get a truck driver's license, right? This is real money. This is a real job. They're desperate for truck drivers, right? But you got to go get a little bit of training, just a little bit of training,
Just
right?
a smidgen.
Yeah,
It takes
just
like a
smidge.
weekend. It's not that much.
Right.
We have some clients
You don't need to go back to law school or be a doctor, but you can go train yourself for that. There's lots of jobs out there.
We have lots of clients that have had great careers as drivers. One of my very good friends sadly passed away a decade ago, but Ed
Well, don't tell me. Here's the
whole career.
The misconception. There's only fast food jobs. Well, wait a minute. I thought those are paying $20 an hour now too, right? So, but
there's
still,
jobs
there is
everywhere. There's company jobs. There's white collar jobs. There's blue collar jobs. There's factory jobs.
You just
got
to get off your behind and train yourself just a little bit. Just a little bit.
You don't even
How
need
about this?
training for some of these jobs.
Instead of jumping on a police car last night, maybe you just read the book about being a CDL licensed truck driver. I don't know. That's a start, right?
But again, there's no consequences for these people.
none.
There's none.
None.
No consequences. You jump on a police car, no problem.
Hero.
You smash in a window, you're a hero, right? You're celebrated
You're
by
a
the
police
media.
officer that gets attacked and you choke the person and accidentally kill him. Now, I'm not saying the Minnesota deal was right. It wasn't. But now you're liable and you're a racist.
But you go down the list. You got George Floyd, criminal. Trayvon Martin, criminal. Michael Brown, criminal. Right? What about the woman that they did the no-knock warrant, Breonna Taylor? Wasn't her? Wouldn't they find out after that she was dealing drugs out of her place?
Yes, they did.
So she was a criminal too, right?
Yes.
So yeah, does it happen? Yeah, there was a very sad instance a couple years ago. A kid. It was a 13-year-old it was like Cleveland or somewhere in Ohio. He was waving a toy gun around in a playground. Police pulled up and shot him.
Yeah.
Tragic accident.
You're talking about
that's like 1 out of every 100,000.
330 million
interactions.
people, Glenn, and that very, very rarely happens. To be honest with you, with that many people, that's amazing that it doesn't happen more.
Right.
It shows you how well trained these police officers really are.
But I can think of only on one hand. So there was a South Carolina case where they police officer gunned a guy down running away. Like that guy going to jail. There was a thing in Chicago, South Florida. I'll never forget because I was there at the time. Right, South Florida. A black drummer going home from a gig, 3 o'clock in the morning, has trouble, pulls over off the exit, not far from our houses in Jupiter, and an unmarked car pulls up behind him, gets out, and begins to confront him. Well, the guy never announced he was a police officer, so the guy gets out of his car, and the police officer shot him 3 times, then falsified the report. Well, he went to jail too.
Yeah.
So that guy had, and now this is Florida, that guy had 1 prior incidence of being written up for being too aggressive. Second time, unfortunately, they shouldn't have given him a second time. He killed an innocent person. He got like 20 years to life in prison.
Jail.
It's no joke.
But this isn't when you're talking 330 million people.
But what I'm saying is that when it does happen,
Yeah,
the police
they've done the right things.
They're held accountable.
Yeah.
But they're held accountable. The
Right.
police officers.
It would be different
who's
if
the
they
guy,
weren't held
Derek Chauvin.
accountable.
He went to jail. He got 20 some odd years.
Right.
He got
Held accountable.
justice.
Right.
He's held accountable.
Right.
He's going to jail. How about the guy who got shot in the back who was going back to the person's house that he previously raped, right? Did he get held accountable? No. He got like $30 million from the city. Yet another criminal. So you see the pattern here, folks? criminals getting payoffs. Why in the world would you why would you settle with that?
No,
the
I
city
know.
of Minneapolis.
Right.
Here, let me just write you. Oh boy, we were so wrong.
What Democrat or
we were
Republican
wrong.
thinks that's a good idea?
Right.
Who in your mind thinks, yeah, let's pay this guy off? That's a great
and
idea.
for those of you that say
That'll teach everybody else to not do this.
for the people that will say to you, I shouldn't say the people list because you listeners are not. It's the people you'll interact with out there, right? That will say, "Wow, but look at all these cases where it happens," and blah 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 blah. Just ask yourself with Minneapolis, why did they then go out and hire their own private security? Right? They defunded the police, crime got out of control, and then the city council approved money in the budget for their own personal security.
Well, they're better.
They're better, right.
They're better. They're better. They know the
Unbelievable.
deal.
Sad what's going
Let's
on.
play Lightfoot's.
Oh, she's a peach.
Yeah, let's play her interview quick here. That's a good one. That's a good one, folks. Keep this one.
This good for Newsmax. I mean, good for them for about the only you got Newsmax, One America News, occasionally Fox.
Yeah.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
Not many though. Fox
Tucker,
has more
that's about
left wing. Tucker, Hannity, everyone else for the most part. You got a couple of them. Who is it? Gutfeld and
Well, they're fair and
Waters,
balanced.
right? You got so many left wing nut jobs at Fox now. I can't even watch
and
anymore.
every other media outlet.
But again, if we had an honest media,
and it's
we
getting
wouldn't have
worse,
a lot
by
of
the
these
way.
problems.
It's getting worse, by the way, in the normal, everyday, in your house, local news. In Buffalo, New York, it's 247. So we grew up saying 247. It's worthless. We've got one, I think, investigative reporter out of 3 stations. And what does he get? Like 30 seconds worth of airtime every other day?
Well, some of the other investigative reporters think they're the local fact checkers. So they're out there going, "No, you're wrong. This is the 60 Minutes report I saw. And they're always factual."
They're the fact checkers.
A year later, it comes out that they're totally wrong. Like
Yeah.
everything else. Trump was right. You were wrong.
Yeah.
Time and time and time again because you lied about it.
The only thing
and
they're
you
fact
refuse to
checking
look at the
is
facts.
conservatives trying to put the narrative together.
But they're not even fact checking. They're twisting the facts.
Yeah, that's right.
They're
That's
making
right.
it up.
That's right.
Especially these fact
That's right.
checker sites. It's unbelievable.
Let's see.
But anyway.
I think Donald Trump did something wrong. Let's go find it.
Let's go find it. Yeah, what a joke. Here's Lori Lightfoot, Newsmax. Good for them.
Mayor Lightfoot, what I
Can you
think.
introduce yourself, sir?
Yes.
I don't think I'm familiar with you.
William Kelly, I'm with Newsmax. What I think everybody knows, but you didn't mention, I don't think any of your speakers here today mentioned it.
Of course not.
Is the reason why the hotels are empty, the reason why the storefronts are closed, is because of fear of violent crime.
No.
There was.
No, that's not the
No.
case.
Ask me a question.
No, listen to that.
This
Stop
is
it
a
right there.
question.
She goes, nope, that's not true.
Okay,
I
well,
think it is.
They don't have windows anymore because you smashed them. That's why they're closed.
I think it is. let me.
I beg to differ.
Yeah. When,
Not quite.
Well, so listen to
That's
what he
not
says.
true.
He
That's
actually
not true.
shows examples of
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
you or I wouldn't want to bring our family to this
Right,
neighborhood, right?
The rest of the media is going, what? Well, who's this guy? What?
Yeah.
Say a woman, a pregnant woman, was shot at a hotel across the street from here.
She doesn't even
week
flinch to
at
this,
4
by
in
the
the
way.
afternoon. Of course, we have this horrific Juneteenth, 50-some shootings.
But hey, what?
Doesn't
better,
even flinch.
What better way to celebrate your freedom, right,
yeah.
from
But that's-
slavery than
but-
just killing each other in the streets? That seems like it makes a lot of sense.
But don't worry
Yay
about it.
for us.
That's not why people aren't coming to
no,
this part of Chicago. No,
not at all. That had nothing to do with it.
No.
Young Hispanic couple pulled from
This
the
was
car
terrible. That was
and
terrible.
shot
Tragic.
Execution style. This
Execution
video
style.
has gone viral. I don't think we've had any.
That doesn't even
arrests in
flinch.
this
Like,
case yet.
okay, I don't care.
A tourist
grabs herself a
came
piece
to
of gum here.
Chicago
Yeah.
and was stabbed in the back and murdered on Juneteenth here in the city of Chicago. Our police chief referred to the location of the stabbing as a homeless camp. Last time I was born and raised in Chicago. I always considered it to be the financial district.
No, not anymore. Not anymore.
Now it's a homeless camp.
Now it's a homeless
I
camp.
always used to know it as a financial district.
Yeah.
I almost went to
The thing-
work in that.
and-
I know that area well.
I was going to say, you think about when you hear financial district, you
Yeah.
think of, clean,
Yep.
respectful,
Yes.
high end,
Let me
a
tell
very
you.
safe place to be, right? Financial districts usually, got people that are well educated. They're out spending money at restaurants
Yep.
after. Not in Chicago anymore. Now
No.
it's a homeless camp.
Now it's a homeless
right?
camp. When I was graduating from college, I interviewed a lot in Chicago because a lot of my friends were from Chicago and went back to Chicago. And Chicago is the second largest financial district in the country, right?
Yeah,
New York City
options
being
traded.
number one,
Yep.
and Chicago being number two. You got the CME, the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, the Options Exchange was there. I went down for a weekend for a few days to do a bunch of interviews and then stayed, a couple days in the week. I stayed with my cousin, Mia, who lived down in the area a little bit outside the city. But I took the L train. I was, not 18. I was probably 22 or whatever it was. I took the L train into downtown Chicago, and I went to my interviews in downtown Chicago. It was pristinely clean.
It was a beautiful city. It was a beautiful.
You're looking up at these beautiful, the John Hancock building, the Sears building.
We've had a lot of meetings there. We used to meet there with our
Yep.
traders from California because it was just easier. Right? It was centrally located. We meet there, but it was beautiful. I mean, it was a really nice city.
Years later, I took my wife and my youngest daughter, or my oldest daughter now, I think she might have been my only daughter at the time, down to Chicago. We went down to the Miracle Mile, right? We went down to the store that they do the dolls there, that they look like your child. They have the little, whatever those things are called, American Doll or whatever. And it was a beautiful area. Now the Miracle Mile is a complete
war zone.
shithole.
Yeah.
It's a shithole. Whatever you're gonna obviously put it. It's just they've smashed the windows. They've had they chase all the tourists away. If you remember, you had roving gangs running down the streets, smashing windows and looting.
You still do,
right? You still but back then you had tourists. Back then they were terrorizing tourists.
Yeah.
Now they just run rampant. It's a ghost town. There's nobody there anymore.
No,
right?
there's nobody there.
The financial district was beautiful. I used to know it as a financial district. Now it's known as a homeless encampment.
And
think about that.
Here's the problem.
In Florida, we don't have that issue.
The mayor's such a moron. She won't even admit to it. I mean, it's like an alcoholic. You can't stop unless you go, I've got a problem. I need to quit.
And I'm telling you what, as soon as that's allowed in your community, it's game over for your community.
Oh.
Down in South Florida,
It's over.
There's a place called Lake Worth. Lake Worth is a very nice community. Well, was a very nice community of Florida, right? That was until they approved or allowed or looked the other way, whatever you want to call it. But they had a couple of homeless folks start to set up encampments in the town park.
Yep.
And guess what? The town said, they've got
it's
nowhere else
okay.
to go. It's okay.
Yeah.
Guess what? Now you've got a huge drug-infested, crime-ridden.
Well, this
is
the
like
problem
the
with
Occupy
it.
Wall Street. This is an extension of this.
That's the problem with it is you got to get those people out of your community. You get them help. Some are going to get
them
help.
in the
Some are
drug
not.
rehab.
You got to move.
Yep.
But they're drug addicts.
Look,
we just
jail,
talked about
rehab.
Look,
There's your choice.
There's all kinds of. Don't tell me they can't get a job. They can get a job, right? They're mentally ill. They need help, or they're drug addicts and they need to get out of the community. I don't want drug-infested tents near my kids.
Right.
Move them out. Move them out. Right.
Yep, it's insane, but
Yeah.
that's what they're doing, folks.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I will say
there's
the-
states that get it. and
Yeah,
there's a
the
lot of
city,
states that don't.
the state of Florida though gets it where we are going to support our police, we're going to support our sheriffs. The sheriffs are now
and
supporting
our residents, our citizens.
I was just going to say the sheriffs, the
interrupt
police are supporting the very people who want to protect themselves. Right? Many of the sheriffs, when they started looting across the country, said, "Look, my residents are armed. I'm going to support them. Just know that we're going to support them and have their backs, and they're going to protect their property." Guess what?
was
The
laughing.
looting stopped.
He's the
It
best.
stopped. City of Florida.
The Polk
Or
County
state of Florida.
Sheriff. The Polk County Sheriff is awesome. First of all, Polk County has some of the safest schools in the country. You know why? Because the sheriff's department there put a program together to train teachers that wanted to protect themselves and their kids. A very rigorous self-defense gun training program. So teachers in Polk County can carry concealed weapons in class. No problem at all. There's not been a single, for all those say, someone will get a hold of that gun and shoot up the school. Hasn't happened once.
Because the kids need to steal it from the teacher.
That's right. Hasn't happened once. Nobody knows which teachers have it and which ones don't. Nobody knows who's carrying and who isn't, right? There's in fact, the teachers go through more rigorous training than the actual police officers do. They really put together a wonderful job. So they had some rioting going on, right? This is last summer, right? So when there was rioting in D.C. and Baltimore and Chicago, New York, all over the place, right? Portland, Seattle, L.A., and so on. The Polk County Sheriff said that these Antifa morons said, well, out to the suburbs next. We're going to the suburbs, right? And the Polk County Sheriff said,
No, I don't think so.
all right, well, I've advised our residents to make sure you're locked and loaded, and we're prepared for you. So if you want to come out to our communities and our suburbs, I got to warn you, I have empowered our citizens to defend themselves, their communities, and their neighbors. Game on. And guess what? Nobody showed up. Nobody showed up.
And it
That's how
starts with
works.
high-level top leadership
That's
like
right,
DeSantis,
like
who
that.
says, oh, by the way, if you're going to stand in front of throughways where cars are going
right.
65 miles an hour and they run you over,
Yep.
that's on you, not the person driving the car.
Yep.
Have fun, right?
One incident where they shut down I-95. I-95
Yeah,
is
that
the
lasted
main-
for about 20 minutes.
That was it.
Yeah.
They
Lasted for about
shut down
20 minutes.
I-95, right? People couldn't get past I-9, a little bit south of West Palm Beach, probably down in like the Boynton Beach area. They shut down I-95. They sent an army of police officers. These people fled. The next day, DeSantis is out, goes, here's my proposed bill. If you are stopped in a riot and they stop your car, you're stuck in traffic, and you fear for your life.
You run them right
and
over.
you run
You
them
keep
over
going.
and flee.
That's
you
their
have
fault.
immunity from prosecution.
Well, DeSantis supporting the police officer. Real easy to move these people
And
out of the
people.
way, by the
Yep.
way.
Yep.
You're going to shut down this road, no problem. We're going to tear gas you. You're not going to be able to feel your eyes for about 2
That's
hours.
right.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Do what you got to do.
Well,
We're
come
moving
on.
through.
They've got these huge MRAP machines.
Yeah.
You've got all of the huge military weaponry that Obama gave all these police departments to 8 years, right, to militarize the police. Use it.
Yeah.
Use it. Get the giant bomb vehicles out there and just move them out of the way.
Move them out of the way.
Move them out of the way.
But it starts with top level leadership. You
Yeah.
very rarely see any of this. You won't see rioting in the state of Florida because they will defend their property.
That's right.
Well,
you can do that now,
You
too,
now
so.
have Cuomo saying you're not allowed to defend your property. You have DeSantis
right.
saying you are allowed to defend your property. You have Cuomo saying I don't support the police. You have DeSantis saying we support the police 10 times over. By the way, also supporting teachers. I don't know. DeSantis gave the teachers a raise in Florida. They gave them a bonus for staying on board, right?
Yeah.
You have way different leadership down there. Of course, you have 1,000 people moving there a day now, and you have people leaving the state of New York. But
I just, honestly, why don't we just divide the country right now? Seriously, in all seriousness.
Well, the tough part is
you Fruit Loops can have California. You can have the whole West Coast. How about that? You got your whole coastline.
Send them
you
all to
can have
California.
it.
The
You can
problem
have-
is, even California, though,
Seriously.
the sad thing is
I know, there's a
geographically,
lot of good people.
Geographically, it's 90%. 90%.
But just cut out the coastline. Just because the coastline's
How about the
all
cities?
liberal elite.
How about
just
the
take out the
We'll put a
cities and
fence around the
coastline.
city. You can have the cities. That's you. It's a different state.
I tell you what, give them California.
East New York.
Give them California. We'll trade up for Wyoming, right? You can relocate theirs. But Idaho's got better farmland anyways, right? Because honestly, that's where it's going, folks. If we continue down this path,
You give them California, they'll burn it down in a month.
you go ahead.
The whole state will be on
that's the
fire.
thing. Give them all of New England, right? Get New York to Maine. You can have it, okay? Good luck to you. But don't ask us for money when you're out of it, okay? Don't go to Texas and Florida and say, oh, my God, help us. We're a crime-ridden
That'll
filth
take
hole.
weeks.
We're going to have to build a wall like East Germany did,
take
except
weeks.
it'll protect the free people and the free-loving people.
Sorry, we cut that off. I wanted to.
Got to play more of this?
Yeah,
Okay.
she's great. She's great. You can't make up this incompetence.
So my question is, do you feel personally responsible for the
No, of
your
course not.
rhetoric?
Love the question, though.
Heated rhetoric is responsible for this off-the-charts violent crime in the city of Chicago?
First of all, it's not true. I love it.
Yeah.
One question.
Yeah.
White reporter in the house.
So you know what? That's not appropriate, sir.
But you started that, Lori.
If you look around you, sir, you're surrounded by white reporters. So
You're the one who
really
started it.
ask
You said you didn't want white
to-
reporters in the
You
room.
feel
Hold on, sir.
responsible.
Let me answer the question that you've already asked.
Here, listen.
Yeah, please.
So
118
I
shot
don't know
this week.
where you're from.
listening to this.
I know what magazine you're from, and I know what your conservative viewpoints are. But on almost every question that you asked, you had the facts wrong. So
The
here's what I would
facts
say.
wrong.
in
Let's hear
answer
the
to
facts, Lori.
About the 15.
It's all peaches and roses here.
No one thinks that a single act of violence is ever acceptable.
Oh.
Least of all me.
I see.
The hotels are where they are here in Chicago, as they are across the country, because of economic shutdown related to COVID-19.
Oh, COVID.
That
Can you
was
pause
like a
that?
year
Can you
ago.
pause that?
Very
You know what's funny?
That was a
Because,
year ago,
Again,
Lori.
let's look at Florida. And for those of you that say, "Oh, you continue to use Florida," I do because it's led by good leadership,
Yeah,
right?
it's
led
working.
by a conservative thinking governor who understands how to fiscally run the state and how to support the police officers so we have a safe state, right? Unlike this moron who clearly does not get it. She does not get it.
No, she does not get it at all. I
No.
mean, she just doesn't care. This is the thing, folks. You can't be this ignorant,
No.
right? So you have to either be a pathological liar to the point where you believe your own lies, or you have to be a complete freaking moron.
Yep.
Okay?
And I think she's-
I don't know which she is. Maybe a little bit of both.
Well,
but
but here's the thing. Once again, I mean,
I mean, de Blasio, same thing. Like, they're out because they're finally allowed to get out of their house. Like, are you insane?
My point to it was she's blaming COVID. Well, guess what happened over the last 12 months to the restaurant and the tourism industry and the hotels in the state of Florida? The hotels in the state of Florida are overoccupied. We're calling, trying to get a space, and they're saying, you know what? Rates are up. That's a good thing for the hotels, right?
Yes.
They're full, right? Guess what? The windows aren't smashed, Lori. That's why people feel safe. I talked to a friend of mine when I went out to dinner yesterday with a late lunch with friends of ours, and the daughter just got back from Fort Lauderdale, right? Went with her friends. She didn't go to the financial district in Chicago for the weekend, right? Nope. Went to Lauderdale. Why? Because she feels safe. She knows that it's okay, right? What a joke.
Well, in places like New York City that really depend a lot on tourism, they're screwed.
It's over.
They're screwed.
It's over.
Who's going to go to New York City? My
over.
wife has taken both of our daughters in New York City when they got to a certain age as a trip, and sadly, I've had to tell her, Charlie, you don't get to go. I mean, my son does not get to go take that trip with my wife, which is really sad.
It's over.
Because it was,
I have no desire, by the way. I had a desire to bring my girls to there. You and I did a lot of training there. We lived there for months. I'd love to go back and see some of that stuff. Not a chance in hell that I'm going to bring my kids there.
It's not safe.
And the thing is, why does this continue? She's bright enough to know these numbers. She can't be this stupid to know that 118 people got shot over the weekend. But guess what? Well, Lori, when everybody else was shut down, was getting her hair done.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Lori never missed a paycheck, Glenn.
That's true.
Never missed a paycheck. Guess what? Her pension building up. You know why? Because the mental midgets continue to support her, and the more she keeps them down, the more she's going to have that support. Don't worry, folks. She'll be back around with her turkey during Thanksgiving, so you can vote for her 2 weeks later. Come on. You can't tell me that she's just goddamn stupid.
Oh, no,
but these are the same people. Nancy Pelosi, they all, when everything was shut down. Now we're going to blame COVID for the reason why these restaurants and these hotels are not doing good. You know what? It's not COVID. Part of it is the way you responded to COVID. That's for sure. But Florida has clearly put together the game plan to say, here's how we're going to be successful post-COVID. It was real simple. Open up, trust people, allow them to make their own decisions. He had the data that showed that you were going to do nothing to stop the virus. Now, New York may have exasperated it a little bit by throwing COVID-positive patients into nursing homes that that were probably the very small group that actually needed to be protected from COVID. Clearly New York's numbers are way worse than everybody else, but Florida's numbers are actually better than most people's.
Well, get ready for the fight in the fall, folks, because it's coming. It's the third wave of the third variant now, and the vaccine's not working like they thought.
I grabbed here's this Fauci. 99.2% of June COVID deaths were unvaccinated people. Okay, did you tell Dr. Fauci? Did you say that hardly anybody died of COVID? Did you ever say that? Did you ever say that? Well, what about the people, by the way, Dr. Fauci, that you're not talking about like me that had COVID? Why do I need to get vaccinated, right? I had COVID. My family had COVID. My daughters, by the way, there's a high probability because now there's a Surgeon General warning on it that they could have an inflamed heart. Why would I give my daughters the shot if they already had COVID and they've got better immunity to COVID than you do? Why would I take the chance, right?
By the way, there was just a 13-year-old kid that died 3 days after his second shot due to an inflamed heart. His heart failed.
Never mentioned that, huh? Never mentioned that. Dr. Fauci, did you talk about all the people who drug overdoses, alcoholism, suicides? No, couldn't be bothered by that.
Nope. Just amazing.
Oh, yeah. It'll be right back in election time. It'll be right back to it. But again, you conservatives, guess what? Let's just say the numbers were real. Let's just say the Trump numbers were real. We know all their bullshit. They showed up at 4 o'clock in the morning. But let's just say they're real.
The vote count you're talking about.
The vote count, right. How many millions of people voted for Donald Trump? 60-something million people? 70 million people? Okay.
75 million people.
Okay, 75 million people voted for Donald Trump. If we all tell them to go screw themselves when they try to lock down again, we win.
Right.
We win.
Well, I can tell you, states like Texas and Florida and Georgia, those
won't
states,
shut down.
Those states will say go to hell. They won't do it, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
But anyway. All right, you want to wrap this? I was going to play this Charlie Munger thing, but I'm going to save this. This is Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger did an interview on CNBC. I can't think of this woman's name. She did a great job this interview, but I just, for the life of me, I want to give her credit. I can't think of her name. She's been there for a long time. She's young.
Yeah, I know. I can see her face, but I'm terrible names. But she did a good job with the interview.
She did a great job with the interview.
These two clowns.
These two guys, I mean, they're out there saying,
China's great.
Becky Quick.
China's great.
So Becky Quick did a wonderful job on CNBC interviewing Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger. Charlie Munger, I like the system in China. I want to hear.
Yeah, for the full disclosure, he likes the financial system. And he could have worded it very differently. Like he's like, well, they don't, they're talking about leveraging products and all that stuff. Okay, Charlie, it's very, you like the Chinese system because they're going to squash anybody who thinks differently or wants to leverage a product. I mean, that's ridiculous. Now, you could say, look, I don't believe in some of the leveraged products in the United States of America. That's fair. But when you're starting to take away people's freedoms, that's a whole different animal.
And the thing is, Charlie Munger is 97 years old.
Yeah.
He has lived through Mao.
Right.
Let's go back again. We're not talking not 1658, not 1458, not the 12th century. 50 years ago, from 1958 to 1962, Chairman Mao starved to death, murdered in prison camps, or just tortured people to death. Something like the estimates are as high as 60 million, as low as 45 million.
Charlie
so let's
and
call it
Warren,
in the middle. 50 million. 50 million people.
Charlie and Warren would have been one of his first victims. The minute they stepped out of line, we've used you enough. We can move on.
That's
Bye.
right.
Yep.
Yeah, they don't get it.
No, they don't.
But they like it. They want to hear it. So
They really like the Chinese
Anyway, we'll
system.
save that for another show. I don't want to get too off on.
All right.
So
Mike
anyway.
Lomas, Glenn Wiggle, Financial Guys. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. Folks, we really need the conservative content out there, so do your best to try to help us out. A podcast found on every major podcast platform. So, and follow us, by the way, Saturdays, iHeartRadio. We're on Wham and WBEN, and make sure you tune in 1 to 3. Am I missing anything?
Just go to our website. You can find all that information and much more, social media links, all that good stuff. TheFinancialGuys.com is the place to go.
And we do manage money for a living. If you think like us, use our team as a resource. Certified financial planners, chartered financial analysts, registered investment advisors. We also have independent AHIP certified Medicare reps turning 65. You got to think of the Financial Guys. And don't forget about our home and auto division. Over 25 companies to save you money. It's so easy, even a liberal could do it. On behalf of Mike Lomas, Glenn Wiggle, we'll see you next week.